Hi there everyone and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman and I'm happy to show you the Floral Elegance collection from our friends at Hunkydory. Now today's collection is full of beautiful floral card making supplies, all with the classic elegance that Hunkydory does so beautifully. So let's start with our Sweet Treats Topper collection, and this will make at least 16 cards. And I'm going to tilt this a little bit and you can see the metallic gold foiling going around the outside edge of some of these toppers, what they call toppers in the UK, what we tend to think of as card focals. So you can see in proportion to my hand, these are the perfect size to use for the front of your card, and of course you've got lots of coordinating elements to use for the inside of your card too. So take a look, you've got borders, small accents, and of course these nested frames in here. Really beautiful floral imagery. I have to say this one is my favorite. And you've got multiples of these sheets too, so you don't have to choose. Now also in the collection, you've got some printed cardstock. You can see these sheets here. Again, multiples of these. And then you've also got some with some foiled accents on here. So like this border, for example, on here too. This one is absolutely jam-packed with beautiful, really elegant designs here. Now everything is a super sturdy weight. It's their adorable, scoreable cardstock weight, which means that it is sturdy and ready to use. So take a look at that. I love these designs. Now, and also included in this set is an inspiration sheet. So this will give you some card making ideas here. If you ever get a little bit stuck, you can see some different ways that the Hunkydory designers have coordinated these materials. So a lot of fun here. This is just one element from today's webisode. Now we also have two cardstock collections. This one here you can see is all the different solid cardstock, so everything again to coordinate with our set. And this collection has edge-to-edge foiled designs. So again, some metallic foiling on here. Oh, the butterflies are beautiful. We've got dots as well. Those are a lot of fun. And some florals, some swirls. And again, that really nice sturdy weight cardstock here. So you can see just a bumper pack of beautiful foiled cardstock. If you're a paper person like me, you're really happy with this. And the stripes as well. Now for the inside of your card, you've got lots of decorating options, but you also have options to do some inserts. And the inserts collection has, as you might guess, sheets that you can simply fold and insert into your card, and then you'll have plenty of space for doing either more decorating or stamping or handwriting. Now some of them are white and some of them are black. The black ones on the reverse side will have a pattern. So you've got, again, some more options with this too. So just a lot to play with there. Now you've also got the tag pad, and I think this is a lot of fun. So inside here you have 48 tags, which are beautiful for either the inside or the outside of your card. These can also work beautifully for scrapbook pages, or because they have a hole punched in the top, you could even tie them onto a gift package. And as you can see, you've got multiples of these too. So value packed every time from Hunkydory. They really deliver not only the quality, but also just so much to play with. So there's our tag pack, and there is still more today that we're going to be playing with. A favorite for me, of course, cutting dies, and here you've got the beautiful bouquet. So we have a large bouquet image, we have a bow, and then we also have the love always sentiment on here. So 3 dies in this set. Again, nice, significant size, so they work beautifully for the front of your card. And of course, best quality of metal cutting dies. Now, for those of you who love to add some stamping to your cards, well, of course, there is, for the love of stamps, a beautiful stamp set to go along. We have a nice large floral image on here. Also some floral accents, small and large, and a little butterfly, sentiments, pretty much everything ready to go to decorate your handmade cards. Of course, these would work beautifully on the insert as well. So lots and lots of different options. Everything is designed to make it easy to create fabulous projects, all with that beautiful hunky-dory style. So today I'll share a few card designs with you and a couple of fun techniques. Now, as you can see, we have a lot to explore today, and I'm so glad that you're here. Come play with us. Let's take a look at just how easy it is to build a card with these items. So I'm starting here with a standard 5" by 6.5" white card base. Now I've covered the card front with some of that plain cardstock and then added a centerpiece here with the foiled cardstock, which has been matted onto black. So I know this soft yellow color matches perfectly with this yellow color here on the background. And that's really step one, isn't it, for card makers, is finding papers that you know coordinate. I am constantly digging through my stash to find paper that matches. So this way I know that I can be confident even when I'm crafting late at night in maybe some not so great lighting. I'm going to tilt this a little bit so you can see that beautiful shine on those metallic floral images on here. It's really nice. Okay, so this is the base piece of my card. Now I've got a border here. This is from the toppers set, and I've matted this onto some of that black cardstock. I'm just going to pop this down here. And then I've got one of the nested toppers. Now, I don't know if you can see, but they're actually a series of frames. So if I wanted to, I could separate out this focal image and then also separate out some of the frames. But in this case, I liked the size of it, and I liked having all of this beautiful gold on here. So I just used it in its entirety and matted it onto some black cardstock. So I can position this right here, and I've got another really nice layer. Now I could also play with, if I want this off to the side, maybe I want the border up a little bit, maybe I want it all the way up at the top, I could also do that. So there's a lot of different options that you can have when you're arranging these elements. And then I've got a little sentiment here. Maybe I want to just pop this down here, overlapping a little bit. Now I can add to this if I want to. I can also, of course, shimmy these off to the side and position this with the fold on the side. Now again, I can take my border and say maybe I want to place it there. I could go all the way over to the edge. I could put it in the center, pop that down. Again, take my focal image. This can be in the center. It could be up toward the top as well. Again, feel free to play with these elements and however you want them to go. And then I've got my little sentiment here. So maybe I want to position that right down on here. So vertically, horizontally, you've got a lot of options, and you can really play with that because you know everything is coordinating. Now I don't have these elements glued down, so I'm just going to slide them off to the side because I also want to show you the inside of the card. Now in this case, I just took a piece of some of that beautiful patterned cardstock. There's some gold foiling along here as well, so it adds a little bit of elegance to this. And I've just covered the inside of the card, and then I could simply position down one of the matching sentiments. And I've got a really nicely coordinated card design ready to go vertically or horizontally, however I decide to put everything together. Now I could also at this point start working in some ribbon or some gemstones or other embellishments, or simply leave it as is. So it's quick and easy to create a really polished, elegant design without any fuss and with a lot of confidence. If you want to add some more detail to your cards, you can always reach for the beautiful Bouquet cutting die. So this has that large floral image plus the bow and then also the love always sentiment. So for this card, I decided to cut that beautiful bouquet really nice and intricate from the white cardstock and then just layer it on top of the front of my card. Now the pattern paper here is from the toppers set, and I've added a border die cut down here at the bottom. Now one thing I would suggest when you're adhering something as intricate as this is to use those sticky specks. It just makes it so much easier and tidier to glue down this image. Now I have the bow, which is also cut from cardstock, and then the sentiment, which is popped up on some foam tape. On the card inside, I have patterned cardstock, and then one of the tags, as you remember from this tag pad, which has so many different images in here. Now these are all drilled up at the top, so there's a hole which means that you could add ribbon if you want to, or you could also just cut a really narrow strip of the cardstock and simply thread it through, which is what I did here on the inside of my card, just to give a little bit of coordination and something a little bit different. There's also a bit of that metallic shine on here too. So you can use the bouquet in its entirety. You can also cut it apart. So let me show you another card here. Now this one has little snippets of that beautiful bouquet, just kind of corner to corner here on the front of my card. So let me show you this. First of all, I've got my die cut element here. So here are some of those frames, those nested frames. Now I've got this piece matted onto a piece of that patterned cardstock. Normally this would fit right inside here, so you could use this as is. I've tilted this just to angle it a little bit and put this element up onto some foam tape so there's a bit of dimension. But before I did that, I wanted to add a little bit of detail here, top and bottom. So let me show you. Scoop this aside. Here is my die cut floral motif. Now it looks beautiful and striking as it is, but I can just snip it apart and I can have different elements. So I'm going to use some detail scissors for this. Doesn't really matter kind of where I go in. It will give me a really abstract look. So that's kind of what I'm going for. So I'm just snipping this apart. Again, detail scissors will make this a little bit easier. I'll get that bit here and then simply angle this on here like so. So I've got one piece there, and let's add another one down here. And then when I put this on top, I just have a really nice little bit of detail on either side of that. And I love how this is contrasting with that beautiful gold metallic foiling on here as well. So super easy to do, and another great way to put that floral bouquet die to another use. Now on the card front, I've got it covered with cardstock, that beautiful green, kind of a mint green. And the floral backing that you see here is from the inserts pack. So the inserts can go on the outside of your card as well. Then on the card inside, I have some more solid cardstock. I've got a few more little detail bits of that die, another piece of that insert paper, and then here is the Love Always sentiment. Again, do be sure to use those sticky specks. Especially with this one, it made the world of difference in getting that down cleanly and easily. So this is a great way to put that beautiful floral die cut to use. Now there are also stamps included in this collection, so let's take a look at this. Now I do want to show you with this one, I'm using some of the large image on here as my side, and then I've also got some more stamping on the inside. So let's talk about this. First of all, I'll remind you about this stamp set because it's full of beautiful images. So you've got one really large image on here, and that's what I've used here. And then you've also got a butterfly, sentiment, some smaller floral elements, everything coordinates, and then also some sentiments down here too. Now, with most of the cardstock in this collection, it is a coated cardstock. Not glossy necessarily, but it is coated. So I do recommend for this using a stays-on ink pad. And that's just going to make everything stay on rather than using a dye ink, which will definitely smear. So let me show you this. I'll move aside my card. I've got a little piece of this glossy cardstock, and I've got the butterfly mounted up onto my acrylic block. And then I'll just take my stays on. This is the jet black. Ink up my stamp and then simply stamp this down. Now the stays on will ensure that the image is not sliding around like it can do with a dye-based ink. And then there you go. So this is ready to go. I don't have to worry about things smearing or smudging at all. So do be sure to use your stays on when you're working with these coated papers and cardstock. Okay, so let me bring back in the card again. So I've got my border here. I've also got another border. This is one of the die cuts. Now this is mounted onto that yellow cardstock, and then I've got another image and a little accent piece from the Toppers collection. Then for the inside of my card, I've got one of the inserts. Now the inserts are not a coated cardstock. It's a regular kind of paperweight, which means that I don't have to worry about whether I'm using the StazOn or not, although I went ahead and used it here because of course you can use it on coated surfaces as well as uncoated surfaces. So I have that butterfly we just looked at, plus the sentiment on here as well. Now, one other thing I want to point out about one of our earlier cards here is that I actually inked around the two edges here, not with StazOn because that wouldn't have shown up, but with the Midas metallic pigment ink. Now, pigment ink and coated cardstock, generally what you'll need to do when you ink that is use a heat tool to set this. Otherwise, it can smear and blur as well. But all you need to do is ink the edges as you normally would, heat set it, and then you are good to go. So that's what I used on this card, just to add a little bit of gold metallic on here as well. So as you can see, whether you're working with dies, whether you're working with stamps, whether you're working with ink pads, there is a lot you can do with some of the accessory items in this collection. I also have some surfaces to show you as projects today. Now, adorable scoreable cardstock, whether it's plain or foiled, is really heavyweight cardstock. It's 350 GSM, which is thicker than most cardstock. It cuts beautifully with either scissors or a paper trimmer or a die cutting machine, and you can fold it as well. Now, to fold it, I like to use a scoring tool of some type. Now, you may have a scoreboard, which can work. You can also use a bone folder and a ruler. Now, I'm working onto a mouse pad, and this is just going to give me a little bit of extra bounce here as I'm doing my scoring. So I'll just position my ruler down here and use that bone folder to make a nice straight line on here. Then when I'm ready to fold, you can see here it folds cleanly, smoothly, and evenly. So I can add my bone folder on here as well and just really make sure that that is scored well. So the cardstock, the foiling is not going to come chipping off. It folds just beautifully, which means that when you're working with your cutting dies that create folded surfaces, that you will get a nice crisp clean fold as well. So with this little mini folder, you can see here I've used the mini envelope and gift card holder die. So this is the package, this is how it comes, and there are two little folders in here. This is the one that I've used for this project. So you can see that's this die right here, and all I need to do is just get my cardstock and position it on top. I like to use some of the Hunkydory low tack tape to secure that in place, run it through my die cutting machine, and I will have a piece that looks like this. So all of my cut lines are done and my score lines too. So when I fold this over, you can see it is just going to fold and crease perfectly. Now I would use some extra sticky tape to secure up the sides on there. But then I've got my folded little envelope, super cute, and I can decorate it with some of the elements from that Topper collection, which is what I've done here. So I've got some of these little elements here. I've got some borders, top and bottom, a little bit of ribbon, and then when I open this up, you can see I have a bit of plain cardstock and then a happy birthday die cut. Now, both of the mini envelope and gift card holders will fit a gift card. So you can tuck in a little gift card message in there, and I think it just makes such a nice presentation. All right, I have another folded surface to show you, and this one is using the Peekaboo die collection. So again, let's take a look at that. I'm going to pull out the package so you can see what it looks like. And here you've got two dies. You've got one that will create the base and one that you will cut 2 times, and that will create the side flaps. So when I have this out, I'm running out of space over here. I've got this element and I've got this one here. So cut this once, cut this one twice, and then you will have something that looks like this. Here's your base, and then here are your two side flaps. So you can see how beautifully that cuts and just how gorgeous that pattern is on here. Again, just go ahead and fold up on those score lines. Now here's where you may want to bring back in that bone folder and just give another nice crease here, top and bottom. And then I've got the main portion of my card. Then all I need to do is just fold in each of those side flaps. And I would recommend that you use that extra sticky tape to secure both of these down in place. And then you've got the foundation of your peekaboo card. So let me show you what this one looks like. Now I've just got that same beautiful cardstock. I've got a really fun image here. I've got a little bow on here as well. And then when you open this up, you can see top and bottom, I've got some of that gorgeous swirly foiled cardstock. I've got some borders on here too. And then when I open this up, I have my sentiments that I know match perfectly. Now this will also, of course, hold a gift card too. So you've got some really nice options here for creating cards or creating gift card holders. Now this is our last project of today's webisode. We have done quite a lot. So again, I'll show you just another quick look at those two surfaces. And I also want to show you, now let's see if I can bring this in here easily. This is all of the material that I still have left. All of this beautiful cardstock, all of those dies, all of that foiled, gorgeous, gorgeous cardstock that I didn't get a chance to use. So this is really such a value-packed collection. And this is not even with the die and the stamp set as well. So really a super value altogether. So thank you to Hunkydory for making crafting not only fun, but also a really good value too. So a big thank you to our friends at Hunkydory, and thank you so much for joining me today. We're really glad you're here, and we're so happy that you're part of the Paper Wishes family. So do feel free to leave a comment today. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, just see this webisode on paperwishes.com.